Hey beautiful people, this video is about how to structure a career mapping conversation. How to move yourself from wishful thinking to intentional design. Does it ever feel like you're sort of floating around and you don't have a clear direction? Does it ever feel like you're floating around and you don't have a clear path to your next promotion? Do you have a manager who said, yes, let's talk about this, and just never really seems to follow up? I want to introduce you to a structure that turns vague hopes into actionable steps. By the end of this video, you're going to have a clear structure for a career mapping conversation that leads to real results and not just hopes. Most career conversations fail or just sort of fizzle out or feel inadequate because they don't have a powerful structure. They can stay vague, emotional, and theoretical, and they fail to recognize that a real career mapping conversation is actually about designing future commitments. And it's not just about expressing hopes and wishes. Step number one for you as you start preparing for a career mapping conversation is to understand your current commitments. I'm working with an amazing woman at this point, and she realized that she wasn't giving herself any space to think about her future and her own career mapping because she had taken on so much additional work that she was just super busy with it all. So we started mapping all of her current commitments, and we started looking at who were the customers for those commitments and what value was she bringing to them. And then we ranked them and said, there's a bunch of commitments here that you do on a recurring basis that don't really have a clear customer. You're not really building trust with a powerful person or a person who could help you get promoted for some of this work that you're doing. It seems more like it's sort of busy work. So why don't you decline to do some of these things? See who shows up upset that you have declined, but why don't you just stop doing some of these things and let's get rid of those so we're making more room for you to be able to take on new commitments. So understand what's on your current plate before you start doing your career mapping. Other valuable thing for yourself to do is to really understand what value you've delivered and what success you're going to claim, and make sure that that's in alignment with your boss or your leader, and really begin to build an identity for yourself and an identity inside the company as someone who gets X done, whatever X is you, who delivers value in whatever space that is for you. I have a friend who keeps thank you letters from people or thank you emails from people, and he actually pastes them up on his wall, and whenever he's having doubts about the great work he's doing and the value that he's bringing, what he does is he stands in front of his wall and he goes, oh look, I did this, oh I added value here, this was a successful project, this is an award that I've won. So find some way of reinforcing for yourself the value that you bring and the results that you're producing. I had a wonderful conversation this week with a VP who I'm working with. It's a super amazing lady and just really cool. And she said, I'm doing some work for them. And she just said, Jennifer, the work that you're doing is huge. And I'm like, I wonder what huge actually means in this case. And what she meant was, it's having an impact on people. It's moving the needle. It's changing the way people think about things. And just recognize those moments, and I used to deflect them a lot when I was younger, and now that I'm hopefully older and hopefully wiser, I am actually now really just sitting with them and appreciating them, because what they do is they give you fuel for the next big thing that you want to do. So as you look at your current commitments, look at the current successes, look at the current impact, look at the current results, and also look at what you have on your plate. Once you've done that, then begin to name where you want to move to next. Begin to identify where there are areas for growth that you want to pursue, where there's just interesting stuff that you want to master, how your current mastery and expertise can be expanded or related into other areas. So one of the people I'm working with does a lot of work in the project management space and has been very successful in that space. And she was looking for her next job about 6 months ago. And she used AI very extensively to help her with that search and help her with that process, help her with the prep, help her with the conversations. And she built a pretty good understanding of prompt engineering and how to actually dialogue and work with her ChatGPT or whatever AI she was using. And she now wants to be able to bring that into organizations and help project managers be more conversant with AI and leverage AI more. So we're having a conversation next week as to how it is she's going to be able to do that, because now she's got this really interesting fusion of project management capability and a more advanced understanding of AI and how to be able to leverage it. And she wants to be able to further grow herself in that space. So she's now looking at what she's bringing to the table, what success she's had, what results she's produced, and what are the new areas she wants to grow into. Make sure when you're coming to your career design conversations that you offers that you want to make and that you yourself are excited about where it is you want to move to next. The other thing to give yourself a lot of freedom as you start designing in your next career path conversation is don't just look at roles. Roles are sort of boxes that other people have defined in terms of how an organization works. They're worth looking at, they're worth paying attention to, but they're not cast in stone. Many organizations don't know exactly what it is that they want in order to be successful and deliver on the results that they want to produce. And one of the things that I found super useful in there is to really understand what the organization you're interested in working with, whether it's laterally or higher up in your own company, or whether it's a different company that you want to go work for, is really to be able to look at what they're trying to work on, what their concerns are, what they're trying to accomplish, and where you think you could make an offer in there. It doesn't necessarily have to fit exactly with an existing career path. In fact, with AI, career paths are changing so fast that you're probably going to offer something more valuable than if you've stuck with the prescribed path. Make sure when you're having your career conversations that you're also co-designing what success would look like. So as you prep for them, go in and make sure that you have an understanding of what success would mean for you and look like for you, and what the impact your success would have on the rest of the organization. As you have your career conversations, then look for the person at the other side of the table, whether it's your boss, whether it's a leader in another part of the organization, whether it's someone from HR who's been an integral part of designing the career paths. Whether you're sitting down with one of those people, make sure that you're co-inventing a really good understanding of what success would look like for you in one of these roles. When you've had these conversations, remember they're a bit of a gift of someone else's time who's committed to you being successful, committed to you growing, and committed to helping the organization grow. Make sure that you end with a promise and with a follow-up. There are next steps that you're going to do as a result of your career conversation. As you close down the conversation or finish up the conversation with whoever you're talking to, make sure that you're coming back and saying, here's what I'm committing to do for the next 30 days or 90 days or whatever your timeline is. I'm going to come back to you and give you updates. Is that something that you would like to know about? Is that an imposition on you? Can you give me feedback and ideas on them? So you're making an offer and you're also requesting feedback on it at the same time. Incredibly valuable thing to do. Also shows a shared level of commitment, and it continues your conversation and your trust building with that person. They will have your back in a different way than if you just simply said thank you very much and walked out the door. Make sure that you end with a promise and that you end with a commitment to some kind of follow-up. I have done another video on this topic, related to this topic, which is called What is a Career Conversation? It's here. I think it will help you as you start preparing yourself for these types of conversations and just give you extra thinking and extra depth and breadth around this topic. As you go forward with this, I hope you get super proficient at it, and I hope you get super good at designing and co-designing with other people. This is a great thing for you to be doing, and I wish you the absolute best of luck with it. Take care. Bye.